Yo, what is up YouTube? It's your boy Legend and I'm back with another video. Now, I know you guys were not expecting me to upload this fast. This another upload within the 2 to 3 day time span. But if I'm being honest with you guys, this video is late. I've been having some troubles with the usual uh recording app that I usually use. So now, as you guys can see, I'm back to where it all started. I'm back on Kind Master. So let's see if the quality of the videos is gonna change, if it's gonna improve or decline. But you already know what this is. If you guys like the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. But without further ado, let's get into this intro so we can start this what if. Naruto held Tamari, not wanting to let go as the fatigue started to kick in hard. The two of you should head back to the village, and this is not up for debate. You're almost out of chakra. It would not be wise for you to continue. Naruto went to argue, but Araya cut him off. Like I said, not up for debate. If you're worried about keeping these people safe, you've got nothing to worry about. After all, just because you got a little power boost doesn't mean that I'm still not stronger than you. Naruto sighed before he collapsed, causing Gaara to catch him and Tamari with his sand. Uzumaki, I expect marriage arrangements between you and Tamari. And if you hurt her, I'll kill you. Naruto looked at Gaara and smiled. Konohamaru then went through hand signs as he summoned Enma. Enma-san, would you take the boss and Tamari back to the village? Enma nodded as he grabbed the two and pooped away. The two appeared in front of Tsunade's desk with Enma as he then went back to the summoning world. Tsunade was immediately alarmed with one look at the two of them. Naruto looked tired and Tamari was missing a leg. Time skip. Tamari lay in a hospital bed as she laughed every time she looked at Shizune. She had just taken 100 milligrams of morphine and it had her high, but for the most part relaxed. A few seconds later, Tamari fell asleep as Naruto sighed. Shizune left. Now she had to go and work on a prosthetic for her. Ino then came in, or rather burst in, as she made her way past Shizune with a vase full of flowers. They were desert lilies, something that was extremely rare in Fire Country. She placed the vase next to the bed on a shelf as she turned to Naruto. How is she? Naruto rubbed his eyes as he yawned. She'll be fine. Shizune started the research to get Tamari's fitted with a prosthetic. Ino narrowed her eyes at Naruto as she walked up to him. How long have you been here? Naruto gave a sigh before answering. 7 hours? Ino glared at him before looking at his clothes. They were tattered and ripped. The sleeve on his right arm was gone. The zipper to his gray and black jacket was long forgotten, showing the black mesh undershirt that he had underneath. And his hands were caked in blood. What exactly happened? I thought you were just going on a simple mission. Naruto started to sweat. He had told everyone that it would be something small and simple. Not that he was going to destroy the stone outpost. Getting no answer, a tick marker appeared on Ino's head. Naruto Uzumaki, do I have to go into your mind for the answers, or will you tell me? Shit. She played that card on him. She could do just as she said with zero consequences because she was his soon-to-be wife and Kurama knew that. So he would not do anything to her. You know, do you remember when we all almost died on that mission? Fear was seen in Ino's eyes for a split second before it was gone. What about it? Naruto pointed at his tattered clothes and at Tamari. That woman was there with Orochimaru. I killed the woman. Orochimaru got away, like the snake he is. Ino sighed in relief as she moved and sat down on Naruto's lap. You should get some sleep, Naruto. You look like shit. Naruto chuckled. And you're as beautiful as always, Ino. By the way, where's Hanabi? Ino winced at the question, but answered. She's dealing with a pregnant Hinata. Naruto saw no big deal in what he was told, but he didn't know the extent of the situation. Ino then shifted her weight as her glorious ass settled right on Naruto's shaft as he started to harden. Damn, thought Naruto. Ino was about to say more, but immediately stopped as her face started to redden. Was he? No. She had to make sure first before assuming things. She moved once more in his lap as Naruto winced at the tightness as his shaft now ended up in between Ino's legs. Yeah, he's erect. Ino slowly turned her head to look at Naruto. Meanwhile, with Hanabi, she was in a bad mood. She went to the Hyuga compound to check in on her family and leave, but Hinata had other plans. The two females were currently out in the training area, and Hinata had her Byakugan active. Hanabi rubbed her forehead. She was really being accused of betrayal. Yet Hinata already knew she had feelings for Naruto. I'm not fighting you, Hinata. What do I look like trying to fight a pregnant woman? And even if you were not pregnant, I still wouldn't fight you. Who fights over a man, and one who's to be married soon at that? Hanabi's words only angered Hinata as she moved forward. Hanabi had to admit she was fast, and she was a lot more fluid with her attacks after the short training that she did with Naruto, but Hinata wasn't as fast as she should be due to the baby bump that she sported. But still, compared to Hanabi, Hinata was just very outclassed. Hanabi consistently trained with Naruto, so she simply just slipped past all of Hinata's attacks with ease. Her Byakugan wasn't even active. Hell, Hanabi was now stronger than Neji, but then again, that could be her ego talking. Hanabi didn't retaliate. She only dodged and blocked. But Hinata was only getting more pissed as she was not thinking rationally at the moment. My whore of a sister took the one thing I love from me. Why should she be happy? Why did she get him and I'm stuck with Sasuke's missing in action ass? Hell, I'm going to give birth to our bastard child, but Hanabi gets what I wanted? That's not happening. This is what Hinata thought. Hinata then struck out as Hanabi's eyes widened as she moved and caught the incoming hand. You tried to strike my womb. If I were any slower, I wouldn't be able to bear children. Hanabi was shocked that Hinata would dare try such a thing. Hinata was shocked that Hanabi was able to just catch her hand like that. She put a lot of chakra into that strike. Hanabi's shock soon turned into fury as she slapped Hinata across the face as she stumbled back She was then punched in the face as she fell down in a daze. She then felt a hand on her as she looked down. Hanabi was straddling her waist, and she was rubbing the growing baby bump. Hinata started to worry. "Hanabi, what are you doing?" "Big sister, how would you feel if you suddenly lost your unborn child?" Hinata's eyes turned to dinner plates. There was no way Hanabi would do that. Seeing the look on Hinata's face, Hanabi spoke again. "You don't seem to like that idea, but I wonder what's worse. Me asking you how you would feel about losing this child? Or you trying to take away my ability to have children of my own? What would father think of this?" Hanabi activated her Byakugan for added effect. "I won't take away this child, Hinata. Actually, I'm looking forward to being an aunt. But try what you just did. Try to come on to Naruto-kun. Try to interfere with us, or the others that he has. And I won't hesitate to make you regret it. And you know I have plenty of ways to do so. You're about to have another man's child, yet you still obsess over Naruto-kun. Pathetic." Hanabi then stood and walked away, leaving Hinata on the grass in shock. Hanabi was pissed as she went back to the mansion. She couldn't believe that Hinata of all people would try to hinder her from having kids of her own. Back with Naruto, he ended up falling asleep in the hospital room. Ayame walked in and saw the two blondes asleep, and a third blonde, being Ino, wide awake. Ayame smiled as she placed a giant box on the nightstand in the room. In the box was some ramen. Ayame woke Naruto and told him to go home, that she and Ino would stay for Tamari. Naruto nodded as he stood and gave both Ayame and Ino a kiss, and then he kissed Tamari on the forehead and walked out. Now he wasn't even tired. He only needed at least an hour of sleep, and he was good. Part of that was thanks to his tenant, and the other part of that was thanks due to Danzo's training. Naruto made his way home, and he arrived before Hanabi since he was closer. Meanwhile, Anko stood in front of Tenten at her weapon shop as she just placed a large order for her custom kunai. Unlike regular kunai, hers were a little more flat and lighter, but also stronger. They were made like this so she could fit them into her custom kunai holster that sat in her sleeve. All you had to do was flex a forearm muscle, and the kunai would slide out and into your palm, while other amateurs took the less expensive route and tied a damn rope to their arms and part of the rope to the end of a kunai, and they just let it hang there in their sleeves. Anko then left as she stopped by the Yamanaka flower shop and entered. "Hey Ren, is my order ready?" Ren simply pointed to the corner where a vase of assorted flowers sat as she walked over and took it, now leaving to go and visit Tamari. Back with Naruto. He was in the shower when Hanabi finally got back. She was still fuming and trying to calm down, but the fact that Hinata accused her of stealing Naruto and betraying her, and then her trying to destroy her womb on top of it, it would just constantly get her more and more angry. She definitely needed something to take her anger out on. She then heard the shower running. She knew the only people here were herself and that stone girl. She knew Ino and the others were out, so that left one person. Hanabi smirked as she went to the bathroom and opened the door and just left the door open. She undressed herself and then slid the shower door open, surprising Naruto as she entered. Naruto went to speak, but she cut him off, slamming him into the wall as she attacked his lips with her own. Naruto immediately knew something was wrong. Something was off. She was never this aggressive in a kiss, and she never was so bold to shower with him. Hanabi pulled away with a look of lust all over her face. "Fuck me right now." Naruto was shocked by her wording. Why so vulgar? Are you sure? Hanabi grabbed Naruto by his tool and squeezed, causing him to wince. I didn't stutter. I spoke clearly. You know what I want. If I have to repeat myself, I'll shut off the chakra flow to what I'm holding right now. Naruto gulped. He wasn't about to let that happen, so he was going to give Hanabi what she asked for. Hanabi got down on her knees. Though she may be inexperienced, but she knew that you needed some type of lubricant before you just got to it. A few minutes of sucking and swallowing, and Hanabi stood, leaving Naruto right there on the edge. He grabbed Hanabi by the waist and pushed her up against the shower wall as she stuck her rear end out. A thought popped into his head. Is this your first time? Hanabi nodded impatiently. He was going to ruin the moment with all the questions. That was all Naruto needed. Now he knew that he had to go slow at first so she could adapt. Meanwhile, Kuratsuchi was in the living room, a huge blush across her face. She heard and could hear everything, and it had her thighs hot and needing some action. She didn't hear a throaty moan, and Hanabi spoke. Fuck! Don't move! Back with Naruto. He was fully inside Hanabi and she was very tight, as a little bit of blood was resting on his tool. Naruto held her as he panted while using the wall as support. Are you okay, Haim? Naruto kissed the back of her neck, trying to soothe Hanabi as she felt shivers run down her spine. Fuck, he's good at this, thought Hanabi, as she was getting more aroused. She was already aroused at the fact that she knew the other person in the house could hear them. You can move, but don't go fast at first. Time skip. 2 hours later, Naruto and Hanabi lay in his bed. They were exhausted, and to his surprise, she was wild in bed. The stuff the two of them did, there was no doubt that Hanabi was into a little bit more of the rough side of intercourse. It was obvious when she demanded him to do certain acts with her. She even wanted him to choke her, or maybe it was just for today. Naruto finally asked, so, what's wrong? You're not usually this bold. Hanabi wiped the last little bit of ejaculate from her stomach before answering. Hinata did something that almost made me kill her, but it's not a big deal, I'm over it. Now Naruto was curious as he probed a little. Hanabi rolled her eyes. She tried destroying my womb so I can't have kids. Naruto froze. Did he hear that right? Naruto looked at her. What do you mean? Look, Naruto-kun. Can we just not talk about this? Naruto nodded as the two cuddled up next to each other. The next day, late at night, Araya and her squad finally returned. The way they handled things, it was a little unorthodox. There was no plan at all. Everyone just went into each outpost and all at once they just burned it to the ground, cutting off the resource flow. And mainly due to Gaara, there was no casualties because of his sand. Kunai did suffer from a torn calf muscle, but it was nothing big. Currently, Naruto sat in Tamari's hospital room as he watched Suzune dope her up again to keep the pain off of her mind. Tsunade then walked in, confusing Naruto. She wasn't a medical staff. Why was she here? Naruto, we need to talk. I would have called you to my office, but I knew if you were here, you were not likely to show up. Naruto nodded as Tsunade took a seat next to him. You know you're from two clans, right, Naruto? Naruto rose an eyebrow. What about it? Tsunade rubbed her temples. Well, you have two choices. Being the head of two clans, you can choose to keep both clans separate, or you can choose to join both clans together as one clan. Either way, there will be paperwork involved. Naruto started rubbing his own temples. Just give me time to think of this. I'll have an answer when everything is calmed down. Tsunade nodded. That was less paperwork, for now. Later that day, Naruto left the hospital. He was going to pay a visit to Hinata, and it was one visit that she would not enjoy. He arrived at the Hyuga compound and walked into the inbred domain. He had no manners whatsoever. He just walked through, kicked down a door, and stated that he wanted to speak with Hinata. Naruto waited out in the garden as he looked at the koi pond. What mesmerizing fish. He then heard soft footsteps behind him as he turned. Hinata stood there in a delicate white kimono with gold decor. Naruto stepped forward and backhanded her as she stepped back and held her cheek in shock. You're lucky that you're pregnant. If you were not, I would not have held back. I don't believe I need to tell you why. Hinata nodded. She knew what she did. To be honest, she was ashamed of herself. Hinata, the way I see you isn't the same way how I see Hanabi, Anko, Ayam, Tamari, or Ino. I only see you as another comrade, as another Leaf Shinobi, as a subordinate. This is the only time I will tell you this. Try something like this again, and it won't be my fault on the actions that I take. Meanwhile, with Sasuke, he was sitting on the back stoop of Tsuzumi's house. Inari wanted to learn how to become a shinobi, so Sasuke was helping him in that regard. He watched the boy as he walked halfway up a tree before falling. As he stood back up, growled at the tree before trying again. Sasuke chuckled. He was the same way when he first started learning this. The door behind him opened, and Tazunimi sat down next to him as she came out. The two shared a quick kiss before they resumed watching Inari. Time skipped. The next day, Tazunimi, she was now pacing as she was fidgeting with her hands. She was a little nervous. The reason being, her period was late. The month was ending, and it has yet to come. So she decided to get a scan, and she was pregnant. And now she had to tell Sasuke, who was currently out training her son. She continued to pace for a few more minutes before Sasuke and Inari came back in. Tazunimi didn't even give them time to speak. She just immediately sent Inari to his room, and he went with a pout. What was that about? Sasuke asked. She was very adamant in her decision. We need to talk, Sasuke. Sasuke could hear the seriousness in her voice. So, the two took a seat on the couch. Sasuke, I'm going to ask you a question and I want you to give me an honest answer. He nodded, not really knowing where she was going with this. How do you really feel about me, Sasuke? Am I just someone you can fuck, or do you actually give a damn about me? Sasuke was shocked. She never used language like this before. And Sasuke just thought that it would be best to answer truthfully. Um, well, I can't really say that I like you or that you're someone that I like to fuck and fool around with. Tsunami was hurt by this. She was about to speak. She was about to hit him, but he cut her off. I can't say that because what I feel for you is a lot more. You're not like other women. You're actually mature and have responsibilities and other priorities than just men. The woman at the Leaf, I was basically forced to get along with them due to me being the last few of my clan. But I don't feel forced with you. It comes naturally. Sasuke gave a smile as he nervously put a hand to his head as he ran his fingers through his hair. Um, I wasn't planning on doing this now. I actually wanted to find a better way to go about it, but Sasuke then pulled out a small black box from his pocket and then got onto one knee in front of Tsunami. Will you give me the honor of being my wife and becoming Tsunami Uchiha? Tsunami covered her mouth and she started to cry as Sasuke presented the ring on one knee. She was not expecting this at all. Through all the emotions, she said yes, and Sasuke slid the ring onto her finger before standing and kissing his fiancée. But Tsunami still had to tell him. So pulling away, she told him. Meanwhile, with Naruto, this was now the end game. This was him ending things before they could actually start. He was mobilizing his shinobi Kunoichi, and Tsunade was not letting him play favorites. And now, he was officially dragging Kiri into this war, now that the stone in Kumo was weak enough. The beautiful Mizukage stood on the deck of a ship as she looked out into the sea, as her hair fluttered with the breeze. Jiraiya and Neji stood on her flanks while Kojiro looked out at the sea while sitting down a distance away. Aya? Well, he was no longer living. Neji found out about the Byakugan that he had when he activated it in front of the Hyuga, and Neji destroyed the eye immediately, taking Aya with it. Mei didn't dare do anything though. Not when he was one of the Leaf's strongest shinobi. From what Jiraiya told her, the strongest of the Jonin was Naruto, Kakashi, Guy, Anko, Yugao, Neji, Sai, and so on. A formidable list. Even their Chunin were nothing to scoff at. It was in her best interest to make an alliance with the Hidden Leaf Village work. Back with Naruto and Tsunade, they were making plans. She would use their outpost at the border of Fire Country as HQ, and the acting Kazekage and Mizukage would be there as well. They would also have half of the Yamanaka clan and half of the Nara clan, Ino being one of them, which Naruto didn't like, but Tsunade said no favoritism. Naruto was forced to agree, and decided that Shisui would return to Konoha and be acting Hokage in the village. If things did go south, and this war was not in their favor, Shisui would be the last line of defense. He would hold back 100 Chunin, majority of the Genin, and half the Jonin. Itachi was coming from the sand with a total of 3,000 troops, and Mei was coming with a total of 4,000. Do we know how much the stone in Kumo have? Asked Tsunade. Naruto sat down on her desk and spread out a map with notes on it. As a combined force, they have 36,000, give or take. That's counting every Genin, every Chunin, Jonin, Anbu, Special Anbu, and Kage level Shinobi that they have. Tsunade was surprised. How did Naruto know so much about the enemy? Naruto saw the look on her face and he responded. When I took over Danzo's position as Anbu commander, it came with a lot more than just managing Shinobi. I also work with Jiraiya to gather information to a certain extent. Tsunade nodded. She was going to organize specialized groups of Shinobi for certain tasks, but Naruto would organize his own group. He needed certain people with him for what he could be going up against. Naruto pointed to a spot on the map. Mei and her troops will be docking here in Wave Country. Once they dock, they will rest and leave to get her here by the next day. Over. Tsunade nodded as she looked at all the crossed out locations on the map. I'm guessing these are all of the outposts that you destroyed? Naruto nodded before realization set in. He cursed. What is it? Naruto looked at Tsunade with cold eyes. All this time, when Kiba left and betrayed us, none of us made a damn move to get back the scroll of sealing from Kumo. Tsunade fell silent. She knew of some of the jutsu in there, and a lot of them could cause trouble for them. The Shadow Clone, the Reanimation, the Bringer of Darkness. Those were the main ones that could really cause a lot of damage. A few hours later, in Wave Country, a few ships came and docked as the Shinobi along with Mei unboarded. The plan was for all the Shinobi to purchase out an entire inn for the night, but a few Miss Shinobi had other plans. They were going to war. They needed to enjoy themselves. They may end up dying in battle. A group of 3 broke off, going to explore the now wealthy Wave Country as they went to a few bars and casinos. 2 hours later, they left the casino, drunk, with a little more money than they walked in with. I love you guys, man, said one of the Miss Shinobi. The other went to respond, but froze when they saw a beautiful black-haired woman walk by with a bag of groceries. It was Tazunimi. Sasuke and Inari should still be out training. Maybe I'll tell Inari the news when the two get back in to sit down and eat. Tazunimi reached her house, and the 3 Shinobi motioned to her and followed. Tazunimi's hands being full at the moment, she wasn't able to lock the door. So the 3 drunk Shinobi just barged into her house, scaring her as she spun around. Look at this fine piece of ass here. I can't wait to get my hands on her. The guys licked their lips as they stepped forward. Get away. Get out of my home. I'm engaged. My fiance will kill you. I have a son. The man didn't give a damn. They were too drunk to care. They grabbed her and began to strip her of her clothes and forced her onto the dining room table. Stop, please. What do you want? I'll pay you. The men laughed. What we want, sweet cheeks, is the treasure between them legs and ass. Her eyes widened. They were going to really grape her, and she was alone. Meanwhile, Sasuke carried a tired Inari on his back. They were only around the corner from the house. Looking back, he saw the kid fall asleep. Now he could actually travel at his pace. He jumped to the top of the roof and headed toward it, headed towards his home in less than 20 seconds. He arrived at the door, and the door was open, and he froze at what he saw. Tsunami was being held down by 3 Miss Shinobi. One forced her legs open and tore at her pants. Another stood by her. He stood by her head and he rubbed his tool against her lips, trying to get her to suck it. When she didn't comply, he slapped her. Seeing this scene that was in front of him, Sasuke, without concern for Inari's safety, went into a fit of half-controlled rage. Half-controlled because he didn't want to destroy her house. Everyone stopped as they felt the pressure and killing intent. They all turned to the door and saw a menacing red and black pattern of the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Sasuke was pissed. He was fighting with himself not to release his Susanoo, to show the extent of his rage as he stepped into the house with Inari still clinging to him, clinging to his back in panic. Sasuke looked at everyone as he saw the fear in the shinobi's eyes, but when he saw Tsunami's eyes, he lost it. He moved. The 3 shinobi blinked. The girl was now under them. Who was now under them was gone. They turned to see her in Sasuke's arms as a dark purple aura started to come from him. Her and the boy on his back were safe. It actually was only coming from Sasuke, but because they were so close, it looked like it was coming from all 3 of them. "Are you okay, Sunaheim?" She could only nod as she clung to him, as tears stung her eyes. Then it happened. The top half of Sasuke's Susanoo exploded from his body as the house crumbled around them. One of the men were trapped underneath the rubble, but the others were fine. The 3 of you touched what belongs to me, and only me.